Hey everyone. Yeah, public land is under attack once again. Senator Mike Lee from Utah has proposed a bill that would open federal land that is wilderness areas, national forests, and the like, um, within 100 miles of not just the southern border, but the northern border as well, under the guise of border security. This would allow for the developments of roads, bridges, and security outposts, and also the use of motorized tools and equipment, as well as traffic from motorboats and other motor vehicles, which goes against the Wilderness Act of 1964. By the way, 100 miles from the northern border takes up one-third of the state of Montana, which is highly illogical when you think about it. This is also in direct violation of the Wilderness Act of 1964, which prohibits the use of motorized vehicles and equipment, which is why when crews are sent to maintain these properties, they cut the trails with handsaws, and also why when anglers go to them, they must access with canoes. These national forests and wilderness areas are among some of the last protected habitats for elk, mule deer, and various other wildlife species, which is why disturbances from motorboats and other motorized equipment are kept to an absolute minimum, and why sportsmen and organizations such as Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation value them so highly. Senator Lee and the Senate Committee on Energy and National Resources claim that this would protect these lands from decades of abuse and restore order, but the amount of deforestation necessary to accommodate for this would be decimation beyond comparison to this. What probably won't come as a shock to you guys is this isn't Senator Lee's first attempt. This summer, he tried to pass the same bill under the guise of improving the housing market. He tried to sell off millions of acres of public land as part of Trump's big, beautiful bill. And he also made attempts in 2019 and 2023 to devalue and sell public land. Each time it was met with such opposition from sportsmen that it was shot down. Shockingly, the only sponsor that the bill has from the northern or the southern border is Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, which really doesn't make sense because according to information from whitehouse.gov, as confirmed by BBC, even though I really wouldn't trust BBC for much else, is that border crossings are lower than they've been since 1970. Other sponsors for the bill include Senator John Barrasso and Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming, Marshall Blackburn from Tennessee, Cindy Hyde-Smith from Mississippi, and Rick Scott from Florida. Now, naturally, since Mike Lee's last attempt was this summer and was under the guise of improving the housing market, it is safe to assume that the entire premise of this bill, which uses border security as its reasoning, is a farce. The sole intention of it is truly to devalue public land by depleting the natural resources and then sell what's left to the highest bidder. It is our duty, not just as outdoorsmen, but as Americans, to oppose this bill. Contact your senators. It cannot be allowed to pass. It goes in direct violation of the Wilderness Act of 1964 and everything that Teddy Roosevelt fought so hard that we could keep. Theodore Roosevelt was an avid hunter and sportsman and is often referred to as the conservation president. Roosevelt sought the chance to hunt big game species across North America before they disappeared or went extinct. In his writings, he often lamented for the loss of habitat and of species. During his time, Theodore Roosevelt saw the decline of bison, elk, bighorn sheep, as well as probably many other species, to the point where he became concerned that one day none would remain for future generations to be able to hunt or really have any interaction with. And while society at that time didn't believe that you could deplete natural resources, Teddy Roosevelt saw the effects of overgrazing and even lost some ranches because of it. He can be quoted as saying, "We've become great because of our lavish use of our resources, but the time has come to inquire seriously what will happen when our forests are gone, when the coal, the iron, the gas, and the oil are exhausted, and when the soils have still further impoverished and washed into the streams, polluting the rivers and denuding the fields and obstructing navigation." Now, I'm going to need to actually check my notes to make sure I give you this information correctly. During the course of his presidency, Teddy Roosevelt established the United States Forest Service, which went on to establish and protect 150 national forests, 51 federal bird reserves, 4 national game preserves, 5 national parks, and 18 monuments with the American Antiquities Act of 1906. The act protected public land, the total of public land protected by the act was 230 million acres. It is evident that Senator Lee's bill aims to spit in the face of Roosevelt's legacy and thereby cannot be allowed to pass. I bring up Teddy Roosevelt not just because he who forgets his history is doomed to repeat it, but because these days a lot of our government officials act solely on their own self-interest, and therefore, if this were to pass, it is unlikely that there would be any redemption. God bless, and thank y'all for watching.